What's going on, guys? My name's Shawn Bassett. I'm owner of Attacking the Clock Racing here in Tavares, Florida, and this is what's left of my 1972 240Z. So what's left of the car is not a whole lot. We've got basically some original metal around the factory windshield and where the doors attach, some small areas where the bulkhead is, but essentially just enough material for me to attach all the carbon fiber bodywork to the car. Yeah, so I got the car originally just to be an fun little track day car. Like the outside condition was pretty okay, but I feel like I was kind of in for a resto mod. And then kind of, just like taking fenders off and bumpers off and kind of seeing, the structure of the car underneath. I realized real quick that this car was not really in any usable condition. It was too rough to keep as a track day car or just something to mess around with. But it was going to be a massive project to do something special with it. And I had raced two wheels pretty much my entire life, and main focus was supermoto, and the pinnacle of supermoto racing was always Pike's Peak. And I just kind of never found my career at the point where that kind of was an option. And then I was transitioning into four-wheel racing, and like I said, I just did what any regular person would do, is build yourself a Pike's Peak car. All right, so this is our motor. So this is like I said, a GM 5.3 aluminum motor. I think it's an L33 is the actual engine code. So yeah, it's out of a Chevy Silverado. It's nothing too special, but she makes 850 pretty easily. And but yeah, this is essentially there's a lot of fabrication. This is the motor's pushed quite far back from original placement of the engine. Our firewall is about 2 to 3 inches back, and then we're right on it. But we got a giant Garrett G42 1200 compact turbo in it, and then we've got all vibrant charge piping. Makes working on the car really easily. Everything it's tight, but it's all comes apart really easily. Like this radiator takes up quite a bit of space in the front, but it all comes off pretty easily. And maintaining the car is not too terrible when it's a tube chassis as well, because you can just get inside the fender wells and you don't have a stock body or chassis to work with. Yeah, I'd been kind of beat up quite a bit racing motorcycles, and the sport that I was focused on, supermoto, was kind of transitioning. I guess four wheels kind of seemed safer. I still am way more comfortable on a motorcycle than in a car, but yeah, I was kind of making that transition to, and I just, dream mine was always Pike's Peak on two wheels, and yeah, it still is, to be honest. I've always had cars that I had modified, but nothing that I had a purpose-built race car for. So this was, I've been around a bunch of race motorcycles and prepped a lot of motorcycles and stuff like that, but yeah, I've never built or owned a full-fledged race car. It was actually a really fun process because there was no pressure on building it for anyone except for myself, and I didn't have any sponsors at the time, so it was just just me doing me, and it was actually a really fun experience. I was really itchy at the time, but yeah, I was. I think I'm really, really proud of the way the car looks, because I still think, as crazy as it looks, people still know it's a 240Z. This is our Attacking the Clock Racing paddle shift button enclosure steering wheel we make. And then of course we've got our IC7 dash, which is great. And then we've got our little auxiliary gauges that we have on kind of our OEM shaped dash. I still wanted to kind of feel 240Z-ish going on in here, but so essentially I took a dash a long time ago and kind of made a mold off of it, and has an OEM shape, but we still have our triple gauges. This is a nice touch if you're a Z guy. You kind of appreciate that. But then we've got our our keypad. We have recently we've got electric steering. Then we've got our little dial for that. But it's a full pedal box car. I mean, it's all race car. It's all business in here. Yeah, so we've got our traction control and our map selection. So these are actually Haltech encoders. So it just plugs right in. But yeah, we've got traction control on tap, and then different map selections we have. So we essentially have the availability of going from like a 600 horsepower car and roughly 25 horsepower increments. And we can get ourselves up to about 850 horsepower, which is pretty wild. We did 850 horsepower at COTA in a couple sections just to kind of see, how it went. It's like I thought, super scary. Yeah, so essentially what we have is S chassis based suspension under the car, and there's really nothing S chassis left, but it's from a 240 SX S13 specifically. But you can see the difference of how wide a stock 240Z is versus how wide a stock 240 SX is. This isn't like a crazy big wheel. This is just the difference of how wide the two subframes are. So it's got a S13 base suspension underneath it, but we are running BC forged 18 by 10s in the front and 18 by 11s in the rear. We just changed the tire setup, so it's a 285 front and a 305 rear. And we are on Toyo RR slicks. So the car has a Haltech R5, and it's been pretty seamless. I mean, we've got a pretty sophisticated road race car. I mean, we've got traction control, we've got, it's a full PDM car, so, integrated into the ECU, which makes setting up the car really easy. We're not going through multiple programs or anything like that. And yeah, it makes it real simple. That's least of my worries when we go to the track. Troubleshooting, I think, is being able to troubleshoot it quickly is great, but I think usability, I think being able to make it just easy to use is, I think, the biggest draw for me and my guys that when we go to a race, is that, at our race shop, we work on every type of ECU you can think of. So we get to touch them all. But the Haltech stuff is just so much easier to work on. I mean, the software is just so much easier. If I got a question, I go in the help desk, I drop down, put my code in, team viewer's on. I mean, you guys have your own version of that, but someone hops on, takes a look, points me in the right direction, and I can keep moving. I've got expert support, so I don't need to be an expert. I can be knowledgeable about it and really be able to navigate through it, but when I need some serious tech support, it's literally a few clicks away, whether I'm in the shop or at COTA on a Saturday. I mean, it's really nice to have that kind of support. And I can tell you, we don't have that with other brands that we work with. Yeah, so our race shop is Attacking the Clock Racing. I essentially created a brand, a while ago, something that whenever I was kind of putting my race program together, it was more than just me. It was kind of, something to make it, I guess, more legit, right? I was putting together a race program, and I didn't want it to be, Shawn Bassett Racing. So, our focus is time attack racing, and so we just figured attacking the clock racing, because we joke here that, we don't race against the clock at the track. We race against the clock at the shop, because we're always trying to get ready for another event or something like that. So our attacking the clock is our shop clock, not the clock at the track. But yeah, our focus is time attack and road race cars. We're fortunate enough to not really, let's just keep our focus on that and create cool projects. We like our race cars to look pretty. I mean, that's a big focus of ours, is that, we can have fun with these cars cutting fast laps, but also look good while they're at it. And we've got our kind of unique style here, and yeah, we get to build race cars for a living.